Let's make a latte and talk about why I turned down a 6-figure client, and that it doesn't taste any better coming out than it did the last time I said it. So let's change our espresso grounds to start. My worst fear as a business owner is providing a service to a company and not being able to deliver real value to them that, they can look back and be like, oh my gosh, what a great use of our time and our resources. Turning on the espresso machine would be helpful. My name is Erica. I'm the owner of the 128 Collective. We are, for lack of a better term, an operations firm. And we work with pretty much any professional services firm that delivers some type of client-facing service. And what we do is we help them improve their service delivery framework and their service delivery model. And we are specifically doing that while focusing on uncovering margin for them, helping them get more margin out of all the projects that they already have, reducing risk of clients leaving, and reducing risk of their team leaving, all of which directly contributes to margins. We are called the 128 Collective. I'm the founder, started it in 2018. And this channel is specifically for my ambitious females who are either building a company or building a big career, or they have the ambitions to. And what my goal is with this account is to create something that gives you kind of a weekly competitive edge, because I know how hard it is as a female to be in not only any type of leadership position, but any position where you yourself have these really tall ambitions. So I want to talk to you about the 6-figure client that I turned down for my company. But more than that, the takeaway today is the criteria that I'm evaluating clients through to make sure that we can actually provide value for them and that it's a good fit both ways. Now it's time to make our brown sugar. So I need to grab brown sugar, cinnamon, and my shaker. First up, brown sugar in the shaker. So it's something like you're gonna hear if you grow a business or a career, a lot of different advice from a lot of different people. And in the position where you have a client that you're not sure about or that you know for sure isn't gonna go well, you're gonna hear 2 bits of advice. You're gonna hear what I'm gonna tell you, which is like, don't take the client. And you're gonna hear people that are like, don't turn it down. Like a failure is just a lesson. And I don't disagree with that. You got to do what's best for you and like probably do it both ways so then you understand for sure which one is a mistake for you and which one is not. And I think like in some cases, yeah, you do just have to suck it up and do it. I just put some cinnamon in and now we're going to pour 2 cups of espresso. Lavazza. Talk about the things that caused warning bells to go off in my head, but let me shake this up first. A cup of ice and one of my great loves, Fairlife milk. We just take our concoction and we pour it over. It should be noted that I prefer bitter coffee, and that did not have as good of a foam as it usually does. Kind of disappointing, but the ice is freezing. Ouch. Yummy. So the first thing is lighting, please. Misaligned expectations. And so this one's pretty obvious. It's when a client comes to you and their original thing is like, hey, we don't really need a lot. We need something quick. We need quick turn, really light lift. And then you get into discovery and you're like, oh, you want an entire portfolio of work. That's much different. And you just can't seem to find common ground on, and I'm not saying this is what necessarily happened with the client that we chose not to work with, but this could be one of the red flags that presents is just this misalignment of expectations. And this is getting really common actually this year. With AI, there's a lot of misinterpretation about how much work something takes, and clients are starting, or I shouldn't say clients, but just individuals and companies in general are starting to get this idea that they can self-serve a lot of professional services. I've been seeing people use ChatGPT as their attorney, as their CFO. And it's not like the models are wrong, but the models rely on your input and your data. And if you don't know how to structure that, it's not going to come back correctly. So really, what you're paying people for is the access to their expertise that would make AI effective. So there is this discrepancy. And so I do think misaligned expectations is probably one that a lot of people are experiencing right now. The second is just bad culture. My coach actually, he calls it the no jerk policy, and I will stand by this. We will not work with jerks. We have encountered many jerks. We just kind of go our separate ways. And even before like the scoping process, we'll just be like, hey, here's a referral. Like, here's somebody that would be great and could probably help you out more. Don't work with jerks. It's never going to end well. It's going to probably end up costing you a lot of money and potentially turnover on your own team. The third is they don't believe in the discovery process. So if they don't believe in the discovery process, I would definitely call this a red flag, because they are seemingly, I'm so sorry, wanting to skip over the most important part or a piece of your service. They just are like, oh, can we just skip phase 1 and go to phase 2? And so you're trying to explain to them like, hey, I can't start on phase 2 until I have awareness of what your business is and like I can ground myself in it. Sometimes they don't want to hear that. If they're very bullheaded on it, I would definitely take that down as a piece of information. And then a big one, and one that is also becoming more common with AI, is they are excited about firing their team. I have not come across anybody like this that would be a prospective client, but I have come across people at networking events who are so amped up by AI because they're like, just is what it is. I'm going to lay off half my team in like 6 months. It's going to be great. I'm going to be making so much more money. And I'm like, really, there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody can build whatever business that they want, but it is so misaligned with my personal values and my ethical compass that is a client or somebody that I just would not be able to work with. So those are all red flags that I would take into consideration when being like, do I want to work with this client or not? Let's talk about how much this costs if you work with a client that's not good for you, because this is something that nobody talks about. What does that cost you? It's literally a ladder of costs. It's individual costs that all add up. And individually, every rung of this ladder we're about to go through, they seem like really soft reasons, like dumb reasons to not work with somebody. But when you ladder them all up, it's directly impacting your business's bottom line. It's annihilating your margins, which is what we're kind of all about at the 128 Collective. My Spotify keeps switching to a music video, so if in the reflection you see girls with waists just swinging their hips, it's a future music video. I could just pause this. I don't know why it's not working for me. All right, so the first rung on that ladder is team burnout. If you work with people that have misaligned expectations, bad culture, don't believe in your process, or they're excited to fire their team, your team is likely going to get burnt out just by working with people that don't align with you or your team. The next rung is reputation risk, and some people would take this rung alone and it would be enough for them not to work with someone. But if you don't do a good job, whether it's your fault or it just simply was never going to work for this person, your service was never going to create the outcomes because your client keeps getting in the way, or it wasn't the right setup, or you skip discovery, that is a reputational risk for your company. You can get a bad review, bad word of mouth, and the list goes on and on and on. And the third rung is opportunity cost. Every single client you take on does take a small share of your time. And yes, if you scale with a good service delivery model as the founder or your sales team, it should not take that much of your time, but it always will take something. And when you give something, you're also giving a percentage of opportunity cost too. Understand that if you take on the bad client, you've created opportunity cost for yourself for getting better clients. And then you reach the top of the ladder, you have team burnout, reputational damage, and opportunity cost. And now your margins have been directly impacted by taking on a client who was not a good fit to begin with. Now, I did not learn any of this by reading a book or watching TikToks or listening to podcasts. I learned it by failing flat on my face a lot. And I did that in the field in front of my team a lot, which is humbling. And we've taken on 6-figure clients before. Some of them have been absolutely incredible dream clients. We still have incredible relationships with them to this day. And others made my life and my team's life a living hell because we took them on anyway, because I did not heed any of the advice that I have now given you through my own experience. And the part that stings the worst goes back to what I said in the beginning. My worst fear is not being able to deliver value to a client. And when you take on clients that aren't a good fit, you seldom get anywhere with them. Or if you do, you are using like the most forceful mechanisms ever to make that happen. And it doesn't feel good on either side. The client just cannot get out of their own way is typically what's happening there. And so then you and your team getting paid for it, it doesn't feel like a win. It just feels unsatisfying. So here's where we've landed as the 128 Collective. We work with teams who are committed to doing better and being better, both for themselves and for their clients and for the world around them. If you're not that, I'm not going to be a jerk to you, but we'll know if we're not a fit. We have an incredible network of referral partners that I'm so happy to refer people to. I'm not going to say yes to somebody just to close a 6-figure deal because I know that probably won't see the value or the profit internally or externally from that six-figure deal if it's not a good fit. So I guess something that I want to leave you with today as you go out, you get clients and you serve clients, is that saying no to somebody, and it doesn't have to be like, hey, thanks, no, peace. It can be like, hey, like, you know, one of our values is that we're always going to do the best we can for the client, or the client's always going to be at the center of the experience. And because of that, we feel that you would be better served by one of our partners. We would love to refer you to XYZ. First of all, giving people referrals is insanely good karma. And then also being able to flag and recognize when a client or a prospect could be better served by a different company. You're not stranding that person. You're actually pointing them somewhere else where they might get what they need while protecting your company, which is probably one of your most valuable assets. So while turning down six figures never tastes good in the moment, and even when you talk about it, you know, years later, it's still not gonna feel good. But my personal philosophy is if we take six figures and we fail to deliver value, that's more of a failure than turning away six figures. And you know, you can take a loss on the chin and walk away, but if you take any reputational damage, team damage, opportunity cost, you know, that follows you for a little bit. So take all that into consideration, make whatever decision is best for you. And if you liked this, give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend, and I will see you all back here for another video next Saturday.